Hey beautiful people, welcome to Friday, and I hope you've had an amazing week. And obviously it's exciting coming into Friday because we get to jump into the weekend, and especially with this amazing weather at the moment. So today I'm really excited to share a little bit about how to create a powerful mindset that's actually really based on love, because one of the things, hey, good morning, thanks for tuning in. One of the things that actually happens with, hey Kat, great to have you on here, honey. Hey Shane, great to have you on here. One of the things that's so important in anything that we do in life is, of course, our mindset. And it really does impact, hey Keela, great to have you on here, hun. It really does impact on so much of our life. How happy that we're feeling, how fulfilled we feel, how well we take care of our health, how just, you know, levels of success, how well that we progress within our career or our business, how much wealth we allow ourselves to attract, what type of relationships that we allow ourselves to attract, or how we allow ourselves to be treated is so important when it comes back to creating a super powerful mindset. And one of the things that I see is that sometimes, you know, people feel so out of control with their own emotions and feel like their emotions actually happen to them. Hey Paul, great to have you on here. It is a stunning day. Hey Andrew, great to have you on here too. I'm loving the sunrise in the background. It just has been such a beautiful morning so far. And it's so important, like I said, to really understand what are the strong keys. Hey Adam, great to have you on here. Hey Lise, lots of people jumping on. It's so great to have you all on here. And so really creating a powerful mindset absolutely affects every single area of our life and really impacts the amount of action or the results then that we also create for ourselves or allow ourselves to have. And I don't know about you, but definitely as a little girl, when I was being raised, and I had, thank you for the likes and give me some love. It's Friday morning, let's share the love. It's so important. From 0 to 7 as kids, we are like absolute sponges. We are taking in all the beliefs from the people around us. And even though my mum and dad were so absolutely amazing and wonderfully supportive, thank you for the love, supportive parents, they had, you know, their own limiting beliefs as well, no doubt handed down from generations before. And we take these limiting beliefs on. You know, a lot of the time there can be the limiting beliefs around I have to work hard to deserve money, or I can't have everything that I want, or money doesn't grow on trees, or you know, I have to be kind and do everything for everybody to always be loving. All of these things really shift us and shape us and can limit the way that we're actually living our life and what we're allowing ourselves to create as well. So having a powerful mindset where you can stay truly centered within yourself regardless of what's going on in the external world is one of the greatest gifts that I've ever given myself, through understanding what are the strong keys, what are the ways that we need to do this, and what are the foundations that we need to create in order to come back to that strong place of confidence within ourselves regardless of what's going on. And it's in this moment, hey Sarah, great to have you on here. It's in this moment that we become unshakable and unstoppable. And it's a pretty cool feeling, because when life will always continue to happen. It's not like once we have a powerful mindset that, you know, we've got that forever. Life will always test us. Life will show up in different ways because we're always learning and growing. And I truly believe that our souls need that in order to evolve and get the lessons and get the growth and get the understanding. And it's kind of like without the polarity or without the hot and the cold of life, the joys and the lows, then we can't distinguish what the contrast is because we don't have a point of relativity. So if we were always feeling amazing, eventually you would not even realize that you were feeling amazing because you were just that way all the time. And so it would become your new normal, but without some of the contrast of perhaps some of the lows. Hey Louisa, hey Sue, great to have you on here. And if you guys have got any questions too, please pop those in, and I'll jump back to those as well. Like if there's any particular things that you'd love to find out or really understand, because I really want this to be an interactive conversation as well. And thank you for the love hearts. It's great to have you guys sending me lots of love on a Friday. It really does help to, hey Jerry, help to increase the high vibe and the really great feelings. And when we can jet set into a day from this strong foundation and from this strong platform of having a powerful mindset, then it just changes the whole game. I've been doing this for years for myself, and I really credit developing a strong mindset to everything that I've been able to create in my life since that. So back in 2008, I'm sure you guys, or most of you would actually know my story around this, but 2008, had some big life experiences. My marriage broke down, my mum passed away, and I was really lost and felt very alone, felt very much in feelings of depression and lowness and anger and resentment at life for dishing this up to me. And so I went on a powerful journey because I wanted to be the best mum that I could be as a role model for our kids as well. So I think that that's super important, because whatever we're clearing and whatever we're changing within our mindset will only serve our kids even more as well. Hey Sarah, great to have you on here. So this is super important, and one of the key things that I've discovered is really starting to build in some daily habits and daily practices. Thank you so much for the likes. Hey Therese, great to have you on here, hon. It is so important to develop some strong daily habits that will really build a powerful mindset. A powerful mindset is not created just through somebody being born that way. We really have to shake it and shift it and shape it into what it is that we're wanting to experience for ourselves and to develop that. I was never overly confident. I always felt quite anxious, and I'm conscious of my language around that. Hey Victoria, great to have you on here, hon. When we feel anxious or when we feel depressed, or we've just got some habitual emotions and some patterns that we've actually tapped into, and these can be created because they're a way, even if it feels unresourceful, we're trying to meet a need. And sometimes that need is the need for certainty or the need for safety. It can be the need to feel important, unique, or special, or even the need to feel loved, which I think as humans, we all have that need deep underneath as well. Hey Vivian, great to have you on here. So what actually happens is we've all got this survival mind or this ego mind, and the survival mind is a great tool, but it is a terrible master, and the survival mind will always be louder than your heart or your soul or your spirit or the largest part of you, whatever you want to call it. I'm not here to change beliefs or anything else, but what I've discovered is there's definitely these two aspects of myself which quite often can be in conflict with each other, or even in conflict with the body. So you might have experienced something where it's like, I'm going to go exercise, and then the mind jumps in and says, no, I'm too tired, or I can't be bothered, or people will laugh at me, or I can't do that, or I'm not fit enough. So we have these inner conflicts which continually to pull us apart instead of being aligned and congruent and being able to move forward in a really strong, powerful way. So one of the things that I do each day to start to develop a powerful mindset is I read 10 minutes of positive material. Now, I know this sounds like a no-brainer, and anybody that's read any success book knows this, but are you actually doing it every single day? This is the difference. Knowledge, they say knowledge is power, and Tony Robbins says this a lot. They say knowledge is power. Knowledge is not power if you are not implementing what you're actually learning as well. So grabbing a book, reading that for 10 minutes, but also ask yourself, what did I just learn, and how can I use that to now change my life? What is it that I now need to focus on, or what is it that I now need to do differently each day as well? Your physical body, how you treat your physical body absolutely impacts your mindset as well. So obviously the food that we're putting in, how we're actually eating every day. Hey Chris, great to have you on here. The food that we're putting into our body, the amount of exercise that we have, how we actually acknowledge or honor or appreciate our body, all impacts definitely how we're actually feeling about ourselves. So in my framework, I guess, I believe that there's 4 aspects that go into making an incredibly powerful mindset, and one that is based on love as opposed to push and arrogance and ego and striving. It's great to have you on here, Chris. So when we look at these 4 different parts of ourselves, I truly believe that we have a physical part of ourselves, so our body. We have an emotional part of ourselves, so our feelings. And generally that, for most people, is centered around the stomach. You know, we all have those gut reactions or those gut instincts or intuition, or, you know, we all get that sense of either if we're highly stressed, our stomach will feel tight and knotted in a ball, or you'll feel sick in your stomach. Hey Patrick, great to have you on here. Hey Carrie, also awesome to have you on here. So sometimes we can get that sick feeling in our stomach. So we have that physical body. We also have our emotions. We have our mental state. So this is where the ego mind or the survival mind kicks in, because it is trying to protect us all of the time. And one of the conflicts that actually come up for us is from, particularly when we're born as babies, we are hardwired to listen to this voice, because it is there to trying to protect us and trying to keep us safe. Now, as babies, we're hardwired to belong and to fit in and to be accepted. So from 0 to 7, this is where some of those limiting beliefs can come in, because we are constantly looking at the world, trying to figure out, who is it that I need to be in order to be loved, in order to fit in order to belong, because our very survival depends on it. That's why I call it the survival mind, as opposed to ego or limbic brain, any of those things. And it puts us into a fight-flight response where we are trying to control our external world. Now, what happens is that when we're trying to control our external world, clearly we are out of control, because we cannot control our external world. So it becomes this source of constant anxiety for people, where when we're trying to get control outside of ourselves, instead of coming back to our heart, our soul, our center, and feeling that power, that authentic inner power, we can let go of trying to create a sense of control in our external world. Much easier said than done, and it's definitely been one of those things that I've worked on for years. And it's not that I do this all the time. It's not that I'm 100% centered in my heart and feel completely free and completely peaceful and content all the time, but I live there so much more. Years ago, it used to be 30 seconds at a time, or it used to be a minute, and then I'd get it up to an hour, and then I did experience a 24-hour period where I was just in complete bliss that whole entire 24-hour period. And then I had a fear-based event, which kind of threw me back into reality, where the ego mind kicked back in and then wanted to control things again. So it's this balance, this ebb and flow. We want our ego mind, we want our survival mind, because if we're about to step out into the road and there's a car coming, we want it to say, no, don't walk. We need our ego mind. I know for myself personally, I was trying to get rid of my ego for such a long time. I saw it and perceived it as a bad thing. Our ego will always judge things, because it's trying to figure out if something is right or wrong or good or bad, or is going to hurt us or help us. So the ego mind will always judge things. And you know when you're coming from your ego mind is when you are either defending yourself, you're criticizing, you're judging, blaming, or withdrawing. All of those are mechanisms of the ego or survival mind. And we can never feel safe in our ego mind or our survival mind, simply because it is fear-based. It is built to protect us and to look out for what we need to be afraid of or what we need to move away from. So this is where, when we come back to our heart center and start to really build a strong foundation from our heart and from tapping into our heart, where it really can build such a powerful mindset. And I truly believe that that's done through our spiritual body, which, again, I'm not here to change anybody's beliefs, but for me, it's about believing in there's something larger than myself that exists. And I felt this very powerfully after my mum passed. I was very present with her when she did leave her physical body. And it was very distinct that her body was just a physical shell, that her essence, her core, was no longer actually present within that body. And if you have had the special privilege or honour to be with somebody when they've passed, I know that you would have felt that exact same thing. And one of my family members as well that thinks very differently to what I do around spirituality, which is completely okay, but also recognised this as well. So it was a very powerful experience for me in really feeling the depth of who we are as people. And this is where the ego mind gets caught up with, even our body image in who we're being, or, if I'm a bit fat or I'm a bit this, then I'm going to be unloved, or then I'm not going to, hey Ricky, great to have you on here, then I'm not going to be lovable, or we'll have different rules that we've created for ourselves, or that have been picked up subconsciously by our parents or from our parents when we were kids, because we're trying to figure out who we need to be in order to be loved and accepted. And what happens is this conflict between the heart and the mind. Because your heart knows that you are truly free, you are truly whole, complete, perfect, exactly as you are, just the same as a rosebud that continues to open and evolve. We are exactly the same internally. It's like the ego mind judges ourselves. It's like judging, a kindergarten child that doesn't know what a year 12 student does, and it's saying, that a kindergarten child is less than a year 12 student. And we know that's not true. We know that child is still 100% valuable, even if they don't know or they haven't had the experience or been on the journey to get to the year 12 level of learning. Or even, a greater analogy is a seedling to a great big gum tree. The seedling is no less valuable, and yet our ego mind judges ourselves for where we're at instead of where we believe that we should be or we need to be, or because we've absorbed all of the different limiting beliefs around what society has told us who we need to be in order to fit in and belong and be accepted. And so the ego mind acts like this circuit breaker that's like, sends out alarm bells, and it's not safe, don't be different, don't stand out, don't be unique, don't get up and public speak, because it's so scared of being rejected. Hey Brooke, great to have you on here, hun. And thank you for the love, and please give me some love if this is really resonating. And like I said before, feel free to ask any questions if you either for yourself or for a friend that you know around this, because this can be super powerful too in understanding at a deeper level, or just answering some of those things, because no doubt if you've got those questions, somebody else definitely has too. Hey Rach, great to have you on here, hon. So definitely, the ego mind is constantly trying to protect us and keep us safe, and our heart, our soul longs to express itself in the fullness of who it is. And so this is this conflict that actually happens, and why sometimes when we're going for a big goal, so we might have this desire, or we might feel inspired, or we might feel like, oh my goodness, that's my purpose. And this was particularly true when I started my kinesiology and coaching business, where I had so much fear and so much doubt come up, and I was thinking, obviously kinesiology is definitely not mainstream, and no judgment on Wagga, but at the time, 10 years ago, it was definitely a lot less open to different ideas and different concepts than what it is today. And I am generalizing, obviously. So, to bring kinesiology, it raised so much of my ego mind, and this voice got so loud that it was so hard to hear what my heart and soul was actually saying about my purpose and about how I was here to help people, and what I really felt called to do from a soul level or from my heart level in order to actually step up and step through. So the ego will always try and protect us. And if we're feeling scared, if we're feeling vulnerable, just know it is the voice of your ego and your survival mind. And developing a powerful mindset, like I said before, one of the daily habits that we can start to do is actually start to retrain the survival mind or the ego mind. We start to find out what are the subconscious beliefs, how are they playing out, and what is the story that I'm writing for myself from this place of trying to protect myself or trying to keep myself safe. What am I currently limiting myself in? What would I like but I'm not giving myself permission to have? Are all very, very powerful questions where we can really start to tune in to that deeper part of ourselves and start to feel more aligned with that part. And what I've discovered is when I do get my head out of the way, it is such a powerful, powerful thing for me to do, to really tune in. And what I've found is when I am tuned in, I get more synchronistic opportunities. Things just line up in a powerful, powerful way. It's like I get the green lights at the traffic lights. I am in flow. I feel aligned. And I ask my survival mind or my ego mind to help me as opposed to protect me or block me. So this is where fear, I used to have the belief that fear, it was one of those things that once I finally dealt with it, then I could just finally get on with my life. And it was such a funny thing because what I actually realized, it didn't matter what I was going for. Every single time I up level or every single time I move through that fear and continue to grow and evolve as a person. And I think, we feel definitely inspired to continue to grow and evolve as people. It's one of the 6 human needs that Tony Robbins talks about, is the need for growth. It's like we're either, as a plant, we're either growing or dying. And I really feel that our souls are no different as well. Thank you so much for the love, Brooke. Loving this. And again, if this is resonating, guys, please, let me know through love hearts or just even through your comments. It always helps me to guide the conversation as to what's going to serve you best. And I'm more than happy to interact with any of that as well. So the more that we can really step into that space around not judging ourselves for where we are. Again, when we're judging, that's the ego mind, and quite often we can judge others from this place or judge our environment or judge our body or judge really anything. And when we come back and we actually tune into our heart, it quietens the mind, but we need to take that space and that time. And this is why meditation is so powerful as well, simply because it's starting to train the mind where you become the observer of what's actually going on in the mind. So it's almost like you detaching yourself from being caught in the illusion or being caught in the drama of what's actually going on now. And I can still get sucked into the drama and forget that it's all a bit of an illusion and that it's all just being created in my mind around the way that I'm actually perceiving something, and I get caught in the fear still and everything else. It's not that I'm perfect with this at all, even with my level of self-awareness. However, I can pull it up so much faster. And what I've found by tuning into my feelings are always my greatest indicator of where I'm at with my mind as well. So thanks, Brooke. That's that's such a beautiful comment. And so Brooke's asked, what meditation practice would I recommend? I've used lots of different things across the years. Initially, I started with formal meditation, which is like guided meditation as well, Brooke. So that was where I was listening to particular audio. And then I got to the space where I was just doing breathing. So just tuning into my breathing, counting my breathing. Really, I find that anything that really allows you to create a level of focus is a super powerful way to really start to train the mind to feel quieter. And I know, some days I know my mind can kind of go really, really crazy with lots and lots of thoughts, and it can be hard to quiet that down. And particularly if we've got a lot going on or there's a lot of stress in our life, that can be particularly difficult as well. Hey, Karen, great to have you on here. than anything that you're focusing on. So even washing the dishes can become a meditation. And I know that sounds so silly, but it's actually just being present in the moment to whatever you are experiencing. So it's one-minded or one singular focus. So when I'm washing the dishes, I might think, oh, the water is really warm on my hands. What am I experiencing? Then I think I'm cleaning the dishes. And so it helps to slow the mind down. I know that sounds really simplistic, but it literally is what I've done over time. Or a walking meditation, which is, what do I now see? What am I now experiencing? Or what am I now feeling? Anytime that we're tapping into our senses, so maybe a candle or looking at a mandala or looking at a flower, and just that single-minded focus allows the mind to be distracted by something, so that then you can also observe what else is going on. So it's almost like stepping outside of yourself and going, oh, that's an interesting thought that I'm having, or wow, I'm really emotionally hooked around that situation. And it's letting the thoughts come in and out just as if they were a breeze that was passing through you, as opposed to fighting the thoughts or thinking, this is not working, I can't stop my thoughts, I'm not working. You know, that again is the ego mind trying to judge ourselves. And what I found really was powerful for me was actually developing a greater pauses in between the thoughts. And this became really exciting. And it was so funny because immediately, as soon as I'd recognized that there was no thought, I was having a thought that there was no thought. So this can be really interesting, but I've got my gaps out to about 10 to 15 seconds. And what's actually happened for me now is I've been able to much more powerfully tune into my heart and soul every single morning. So my meditations are no longer guided. Hey Amanda, great to have you on here, hon. My meditations are no longer guided. I literally sit in the quiet and I ask for my heart, what is the message that I need to be delivered today? And I have almost this dialogue, which kind of sounds a bit weird or a bit freaky to some people probably, this dialogue around what's going on for me, what am I feeling. I have some powerful journaling questions that I always ask myself every single morning. What worked well, what could be even better, and I'll be thinking about yesterday or a particular situation, and how do I now implement that. And that helps to shift our life by 1 degree at a time. It's like the captain constantly steering the ship to say, yeah, this is exactly where I need to go, or oh, I just need to tweak this a little bit more, or oh wow, I didn't drink enough water yesterday. Okay, how am I going to get that water into me? Right, I'm going to fill my water bottles up today, leave them on the bench as a constant reminder. You know, it's all those little tweaks which can affect every single area of our life. If it's relationships, it could be, you know, what was really great. If there's been a strong discussion or a feeling of conflict or disharmony. Hey Pauline, great to have you on here. That can be tricky as well. So then I take myself through that process. What could be even better? Wow, yeah, I felt really blocked in communicating, or I still felt emotionally hooked. So I need to do some more inner work on my own emotions and then communicate more effectively. So all of these things can be so powerful in developing a strong and powerful mindset. But what I've probably discovered as the biggest key for me is really setting up a strong ritual every single day. And this is a strong ritual that will support you physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. So the meditation for me is that divine connection, or that higher connection with self. Physically, I always make sure I move my body. If I'm really tired, I'll just do some stretching and some yoga, get the lymph circulating through the body. I have a little mini tramp out on my balcony, which I jump on and watch a bit of a goal movie as well, which gets me excited and enthusiastic about the day. I also do my emotional guidance scale. If you guys haven't seen that, definitely jump into the Daily Gratitude Challenge. There's a pinned post at the top, or the Daily Gratitude group. I definitely invite you guys to jump into that. I practice gratitude daily. That helps me mentally and emotionally. Mentally, I normally clear my clutter or my crud from the day before. So if I've got any residual emotions or any residual limiting beliefs that have come up that are limiting me, I have a series of journaling questions that I do to move me past that. And emotionally, that's where I use the emotional guidance scale. So I have a very strong, powerful ritual that I do every single day and have done for a long time. What that actually does over a long time, when we consistently show up for ourselves. Hey Tammy, great to have you on here, hun. When we consistently show up for ourselves, this creates a huge level of self-belief. And it was so powerful and so important for me when I was moving through this, particularly in the area of physical exercise, because initially, you know, it's like anything, when we first starting something new, it can be really, really tricky. And so we have that great level of fear. But when we consistently show up, and I wrote a blog post about this yesterday, consistency will derail us every single time if you're not showing up, simply because it erodes our self-belief and self-trust so quickly. And quite often I've spoken about an analogy where, you know, meeting a friend for coffee, and if that friend doesn't show up, you know, 2-3 times in a row, we don't trust them to show up. We don't trust them as a friend. We feel angry and resentful. And we do that exactly the same with ourselves when we're not showing up for ourselves. So this is powerful. It doesn't matter if you've got to reduce your daily ritual down, if you don't have a lot of time. And there's definitely been some days where, you know, I felt very limited on time, whether it was because I was traveling or because there was a lot of strong commitments or things that needed to happen. Thanks, Tammy. I love the kissy face. And so this is super important, even if it's only a 5-minute process. And so I'll pick, you know, what is it that I most need today in order to really help me feel flow and alignment every single day. And whatever that one thing is, I make sure I get that one thing done. Or, hey Peggy, great to have you on here, hun. Or if I'm not in that sense of or flow or alignment, I feel like I can't do it right then and there, I will definitely make time during the day. It is one of my most important factors. And I know without doing this consistently, then everything just suffers. So my mindset really gets diminished, and things can feel really challenging, where I start to not believe in myself, my self-love diminishes, my self-belief diminishes, and my worthiness, you know, all that ego stuff starts to, where my head starts to become louder. Hey Deb, hey Jess, great to have you on here. I've just got to check the time too, because I do have a client in 5 minutes. So you know, all of those things can erode our self-belief and self-trust so fast as well. I'll just turn that camera around because it's getting quite bright now. It's so beautiful with that sunrise coming in, or the sunshine coming in. The sunrise has kind of been and gone. But all of those things are super, super powerful. So developing a daily ritual, whatever that is for you, and even if it's 5 minutes of writing in a gratitude diary, or come in and join us in the daily gratitude group, love to work with you there. But when you've developed that strong, powerful mindset that is heart-based, you will no longer be looking for certainty outside of yourself. I think this is one of the biggest things that derails people, is looking for control or safety or certainty from their relationships, from money, from their body or body image, from having a nice house, from having a nice car, whatever it is. And when those things drop away or change, which life is constant change, then we feel scared, and then we feel worried, and so we go into trying to over control things. And I definitely did this through trying to over control through having a perfectly clean house. I love a beautiful environment that makes me feel great, but when it becomes very unresourceful, as you know, everything needs to be a particular way, and the house is no longer livable, or I get angry and resentful for people messing my house up, it leaves me feeling out of control. So it's one of the biggest things. And now I have an awareness when I go into starting to clean in a frenzied way. I know that I feel out of control with my emotions. I come back to centering my heart, getting aligned again. What is my fear? What's going on? Tune in, and then dig deeper for what is the purpose? Why am I showing up? Why is what I'm doing important to overcome that fear, to then take me to the next level? Knowing your why. Hey Sinead, great to have you on here, hon. Knowing your why and your purpose will always bring you back to your heart when the mind's starting to go crazy. So anytime we're developing a new project or with business, you know, this is so important. There can be a lot of fear that can be generated when we're creating either a new business or launching a new product or program, that this can be very, very tricky then as well. And so this is a way that we manage it. We think about, we get outside of ourselves and our own head. Hey Susan, get outside of ourselves and our own head and get back to your heart center. make it about others. You know, how are you going to help people? What difference is it going to make? And I know this was huge even in launching my Angels Wings program, where I had a lot of fear, even just around reaching out to media and things like that. I was like, oh my God. But it's like, oh, Sal, you cannot do this. You cannot not do this, sorry. There are so many girls out there that are suffering right now that will be our mums of tomorrow. And so it was so selfish of me to hold back just through my own fear or my own negativity within my own mind, where it was trying to block me and trying to keep me safe, instead of actually following through with my divine calling or what I felt really inspired to do. Hey Roz, great to have you on here, darling. Felt really called to do as a businesswoman, as my heart and my soul, from who I was and what gifts that I had to share with the world. And again, this goes back to what I spoke about earlier, so earlier on in the live stream, where there's this conflict between the heart and the mind. And developing a powerful mindset, I really believe, really comes from tapping into our heart and soul, where we're actually aligning and getting our mind on board with our mission, with our purpose, to really inspire others and making it about helping others, contributing to the world, which we all know we feel great when we're in that place. Just if we're not feeling good about ourselves, that's when we tend to diminish ourselves, that's when we tend to withdraw, that's when we tend to hold back, that's when we make it about ourselves, which is just trying to meet the need for significance or feeling important or feeling special or feeling okay, feeling enough. It is our greatest fear as humans, is that we're not enough. And when the mind gets really loud with that, it will limit you and shut you down in so many ways. And it's so important, hey Michelle, so important to be able to tune back into our heart and our soul and our purpose and our mission and what we feel inspired and called to do, and why that's important to step up. And when you lead with your heart, then the whole game changes, because the mind will always do what it does. The mind will always try and protect you from fear and try and keep you safe, but it keeps you contained and trapped within. Thank you, Brooke. I can feel this is really resonating for you, hun. The mind will always keep us trapped in this little tiny cage, trying to protect us, trying to keep us accepted and fitting in and belonging. And but you will feel so, what's the word? Gosh, there's so many different words that kind of come up. You'll feel diminished in yourself. You know internally you are here to do so much more than perhaps, you know, how you've been currently showing up, or perhaps you've had those moments where you're like fully on fire and just like launching and out in the world, and then you'll have those other moments where you feel the need to withdraw and pull back and hide because you're not feeling safe. So lead with your heart, guys. I hope this has been truly helpful in setting up a powerful mindset for yourself. Do the daily rituals, do the daily habits. It doesn't matter what they are, they will be perfect for you when you sit down and tune into what it is that you actually need. So I will have to run. I do have a client now. That's great. Thank you so much, Shane. I love that you were guided to tune in. That's beautiful, and lots of love to you all. If anybody is struggling with their mindset, send me a PM. More than happy to have a quick chat, see where you're at, and what we can do moving forward to really help and make a difference. So have a beautiful day, guys. Catch you later. Bye.